always want to listen, isn't it?
Good afternoon, viewers, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tisha, and today we are talking about studying in the Netherlands. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to get people informed about the possibilities of studying outside the continent, Africa, and also to let them know that you can actually study for free as well. Today, we are highly privileged to have here Dr. Emmanuel Nyadzi. Yeah. Okay, our
Okay.
guest today has a very beautiful profile. Well, let's see. So, Dr. Nyadzi holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Development Studies, UDS, Ghana, where he studied agriculture technology. From there, he did his master's at the Federal University and Technology in Nigeria, where he studied on a scholarship as well. Yeah, German scholarship facilitated by the West African Science Center for Climate Change and Adapted Land Use. Okay, it didn't end there. He then went to the Netherlands, where he did his PhD in climate science as well. And currently, he's working as a postdoc researcher. Dr. Nyadzi, thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you very much, Isha. I'm very grateful for you inviting me. Yeah.
Okay, so how is the Netherlands?
Yeah, great. We are actually gradually in spring and it's getting beautiful. So now you can
Yeah,
wear
the
a
beautiful
bit of normal
flowers.
the beautiful flowers of the Netherlands, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great and good to know. And welcome once again.
Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Nyadzi, was there a specific reason why you chose to study in the Netherlands?
I must be honest with you, and I'm sure it's the fact that I didn't have any specific reason for choosing it. In fact, at a point where you want to apply for scholarship, you are thinking about going to a university, at least in Europe or maybe in the US. Okay, and then you look at areas that you want to go, and then perhaps where the opportunity of scholarships is available because you're a Ghanaian. But if I had my own funding, I can make a choice of which country I want to go and which country you don't want to go. But then when I came to Netherlands, and I have more reason for which I would like to tell somebody to come and study here. So
Wow.
definitely there are reasons why you should come to Netherlands to study.
I'm sure
And
my
yeah,
viewers can't wait to listen to all these reasons. And
yeah.
viewers, kindly send us your comments, your questions, whatever you want to know about studying in the Netherlands. Our doctor
Mm,
is going to answer you. So please do well to write something. I will read them out.
yeah.
Okay. So is language not a barrier? Because I know
Exactly.
in the
So
Netherlands they don't speak English, right?
exactly. No, no, no. That is a perception. That is
Okay.
why if you come here, then you now know the reason why you should come to Netherlands. The reason is
Mm-hmm.
that you would like to come to Netherlands more particularly because it's very international and multicultural. Because Netherlands is
Okay.
one of the countries where Dutch is the main language, but at the same time, about 90% of the people speak English. And almost all the courses, almost, not all of them, are taught in English.
Oh wow.
My courses I took are in English. My professors speak fluent English. Everybody around me speak English, and that is why it's even difficult that for the last 6 years I'm not even able to know how to speak proper Dutch because everybody around you
Oh,
speak
that's good
English.
to know. Meaning that as
Yeah,
a Ghanaian or Nigerian, you can study in the Netherlands in English
easily,
language, right?
easily. You can study in
Do you
English
need
language
to
very easily.
prove that you
Yeah.
can speak English before you get accepted in a school?
Yes, I think you should be able to. Recent times, I've seen that they also accept people. In fact, they require that some people write an English test in terms of this. How do we call it? ILT or something for you to prove the
TOEFL.
level of yes, TOEFL and all those kind of language tests. But if you're coming from a country like Ghana or perhaps Nigeria, I submitted my proficiency, the fact that you did your degree in English and
Mm-hmm.
also your bachelor in English or your master's in English, it gives you a different, may be able to accept the proficiency letter from your university. But countries like those from Asia, sometimes they require that they write the English test because they come and it's difficult to communicate in English, and you have to take your course in English. So imagine, yeah. So it's as an Ghanaian, I don't think you have to worry yourself writing IELTS when you want to come to the Netherlands to study English because you're already English speaking person. But those from other countries have to, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So can
So
you
and
take
and,
us
and as
through
I said,
the
can you hear me?
application
Yeah.
process?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, please? Doc, I
Yes,
can
I
hear you.
can.
Can you
Can
hear
we
me?
talk? Yeah, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
so I was asking
Yes,
if you could take us through the application process. Assuming I'm a
yeah. So
student
it
and I
depends
want to
on which level
mhm,
you are and what you want to study. Because if you are a master student, obviously your process will be different from a PhD student.
okay.
And I'm sure a master and a bachelor is more or less similar in terms of application. But most of the Ghanaians would like to come for a master. And as a
Mm-hmm.
master student, you can apply your course, but then definitely must be sure that you have the requirement. So if you visit a university website and you think that you look at the criteria for or they require for such for gaining admission. So if you at least maybe a second class upper or something, you are likely to gain admission. And so you can go online, follow the application, and then you fill in the necessary requirements in terms of your motivation letter, in terms of you bringing your CV, and then there are some basic questions about your country of origin and all those preliminary questions. But most important is that you have to prepare your motivation letter, and then you have to get your CV right. You have to get your transcript right and available, and you have to also get your certificates also to submit for application. And then you get admission, but then the admission does not come with a scholarship. So for a
Okay.
master student, after you
Okay.
gain the
So
admission, yeah,
so so it means that before you start the application process, you should have in hand your transcript, your CV, your motivation
exactly.
letter, and your certificate, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
So
assuming I'm in
this
my final
important.
year,
Yeah.
I'm in my final year, second semester, and I want to apply for the master's program so that right after school I jump to the Netherlands. Is it still possible? Because at that time my transcript is not ready. Can I show them maybe my results for the from first year to
I don't get it, but it seems we are having some slight breaks in the audio. Is that okay? Can you hear me? Because I
yes, I
was
can
not
hear you
hearing you
now.
as you were talking. All right.
Can you hear
So
me
can you
now?
repeat your question? Yes, please. Can you repeat
Okay,
your
so I
question?
was asking,
Yeah.
assuming that I am in my final year, I don't have my transcript yet,
All
but
right.
I have my results slipped from first year to third year. Is it possible for me to apply and maybe inform them that I am still waiting for the complete transcript?
Okay. So your voice, your line was actually breaking. But then, if I understand you, you were asking whether somebody who is in third year can also get his transcript set and then apply it and see if he can gain admission and let them know that he or she is about to finish. And then, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is that you need to have a certain number of credit hours to be able to
Okay.
qualify for a master's study. And so
Okay.
sometimes the number of credit hours could be a 4 year period course. All right. So they
Mm-hmm.
have a CET, or yeah, we have a GPA or something system. So
CWA.
then yeah, CWA and whatever. So if your 3 years is enough, gives you enough credit for you to do a master program, then fine enough. But mostly
Okay.
you have to finish your course, and then you have to, I mean, the 4 year period, gather enough credit, including your thesis, because sometimes your thesis is also important for the process. What research did you do at your bachelor? And because you're coming to do a master program, and it's important that you have gone through an exercise of doing some research a bit. So if you haven't done that, it may or may not affect your application depending on the situation. But I think I would advise that you finish all these periods and then get your
Everything.
everything on board, and then it becomes easy. All the people I know, I haven't seen someone who did that way. Yeah,
Okay.
who
Okay,
actually
so
came
let's pause here and
without.
then I will go through some of the questions our viewers are asking. So we have
Okay,
someone asking, please, how did you find a school? Okay, I think our guest
good.
has already taken us through that process, right?
Yeah, okay, but if I want to ask this, so how do you find a school? I mean, depends on
Mhm.
where do you want to go. But if you are in the Netherlands, go, I would like to tell you, just Google search
Google,
the
okay.
schools. You find schools with reputation. Like for example, Wageningen University, where I am, is number one
Mm-hmm.
in terms of environmental science, agricultural science, and and all those natural sciences. I mean, in
Okay.
terms of times ranking, and the overall is like number 46 in the world, and it has been the number one in Netherlands for almost for the last 16 years. So if you are somebody who cares about checking academic records of university,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to look at world ranking and see, okay, this country, which one is the best universities, and then you choose.
Okay.
Remember that the better the university, the more competitive the opportunity for you to study is. So you have to prepare yourself very well in order to get it.
Yeah.
So you can Google search, get a schools, read about them, and then make a choice.
Okay. So according to our guest, you need to use Google. Viewers, let's use
Yeah.
Google. Yeah. Okay. From Samolabi, he's asking, we need the application process. Okay, so I think we are
Good.
getting there, right? You've
So,
already spoken about getting your
okay.
transcript, your
Yeah.
CV, your certificates, and then what else?
Yeah. You know,
Your
these things are
motivation
not
letter.
standards. All right. By next year, it can be different what they will require from you on the website. All right. So, but then the standard things are your transcript. I mean, things that make you a better candidate than somebody else. And that is your
Yeah.
result over the years. So those are standard. But be well assured that what I'm saying here may not be the exact thing you find in the university website. Sometimes they can ask you some basic questions. What motivates you? What will you use the skills you're looking? But that one is at the scholarship process. So application to get admission is different from application to get a scholarship. Remember.
Okay.
So sometimes somebody else, I've had a lot of friends who have got admission but didn't get scholarship. And even me, at my bachelor, my master's level, when I finished my
Mm-hmm.
bachelor, I applied to Wageningen and I had
Mm-hmm.
admission for biosystem engineering to do my
Okay.
master's. But I wanted to apply for a NUFFIC scholarship and I was denied because I had just finished my bachelor. All right. And they
Mm.
needed 2 years work experience after bachelor. And I nearly
Okay.
wept until I got another opportunity which didn't require me to have 2 years of working experience with the German
Experience.
scholarship. And the Germans gave me a scholarship to go to Wascal and I finished my master's. So it was a luck that I had opportunity again to come to Netherlands for the
Yeah.
PhD.
I
I
think
don't
you
know.
you were
Somehow I have
destined
to
to be
come here
there.
because, and I told them at the interview during my PhD. So the process I gave is for the MSc process. Now for PhD in the Netherlands, it's more or less
Mm-hmm.
like a job. So it's a job because you are employed, you pay social security, and all those kind of things are given to you. So which means that you have also about 4 years to complete a PhD. It can go beyond that depending on fast you are or how I mean,
Doc,
how
please,
difficult your
before
project is
before
or how
we get
practical it
into
is.
that,
Yeah.
sorry, before we get into that, can you take us through the scholarship application process?
Okay,
I
good.
have been accepted into a university in the Netherlands. I don't have scholarship. How do I go about it? I mean, how do I search for
Good.
scholarship and then apply?
So the first thing I would advise is that when you get admission, write to the university student service and tell them that, okay, is there any scholarship available that you can apply
Okay.
for? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they may give you possible options of looking at what you are admission you have gotten, which country you are coming from. Like for example, Netherlands in Wageningen, there is an African scholarship. There are also
Oh, okay.
scholarship for empowering women. All right. There are also international scholarship for any African student, and some of people are also established scholarship for some purposes, maybe for forestry studies. So students who have forestry admission to study forestry and wildlife conservation or something can apply for that scholarship. So you have to
Okay.
apply, write an email to the university and ask them to give you possible options to get a scholarship. Now, the second one is that you can also Google generally scholarships in that country, in the Netherlands. There is a NUFFIC and the NUFFIC which I applied before and I never got because I didn't have a lot of work experience of that. So if you are a worker for maybe 2 years, you have a better advantage Some people also got it, some get it immediately after 2 years. Some people have 4 5 years of work experience. They have even more an advantage. But one thing you must know is that the longer you stay after your bachelor, the lesser the opportunity of getting into a competitive scholarship process.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you are older, if you gain admission and you study, how often, how what the lifespan for you to give back to society? And the scholarship, so that is
And
now.
please let me ask this. Is there an age limit? For example, okay, I mean, if you have work experience, it's a plus for you. What about age?
Yeah, so age, like I'm saying that right now the academic world is becoming full of more young people, you know. And if you are finished, somebody have finished maybe your bachelor and maybe the last 10, 15 years, and somebody just finished recently. I mean, if you are the person, depending on their competition, and sometimes you have work experience that may be advantage to the other person. But scholarship are for you to give back to society, isn't it? So the one who is 10 years lesser has more opportunity to give back to society. And in fact, some scholarship will state it categorically that from
Mm-hmm.
30, this master's is from maybe 25 to maximum 30 years. They will state it. And some will tell you 35. All right. So after 35, applying for a master is a very difficult process to get. Maybe for a
Yeah.
PhD, yeah. So it's something that you must do it very within a particular age group. Now they are stating the age group. Some of the scholarship will tell you no more than 30 years, no more than 35 years for masters. And so it's something you should consider. Yeah.
Okay. Um. So, are there some specific tricks that you should write in your motivation letter to get the attention of I mean, the panel or the people who are awarding the scholarships?
Exactly. I think some people write general motivation letters and they throw it
Mm-hmm.
wherever they find opportunity. And sometimes I'll tell people that try to personalize the motivation letter to the board you are writing to or to the school you are writing to. All right. And so if you think that you are writing a motivation, you are sending a general motivation, they will notice their experience on the board. It's like you
Yeah.
are written, you are throwing it elsewhere. But every scholarship has a particular ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Is there for a purpose. So
Yeah.
find out what is the purpose of this scholarship. Is a scholarship looking forward to training people who will return to Ghana and solving? Is a scholarship looking for training more scientific oriented individuals or people who will come and give back to society in a practical manner? Maybe somebody who will come back and develop entrepreneurial business skills to help people, or somebody who will come back and be in a university and theoretically teach. Is a scholarship even looking for people who have done theoretical science, like maybe physics? I know you have done physics and you're in
Yeah.
ICTP. I mean, few people are able to go to ICTP. There are not few scholarship for ICTP kind of studies. So if you want to do, let's say, physics, for example, in other universities, remember that they will have to compare what advantage are you bringing to them. What are you? So what I want to say is that look at the purpose of the scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
develop your motivation to meet the purpose of the scholarship so that you can and also convince them with practical example. Let's say I want to come and study climate change and I've
Mm-hmm.
grown in the northern part of Ghana. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm developing my study, I'll tell them that having been in northern Ghana for the last years and having been maybe a son of a farmer, I expect that, and I've identified this problem A, B, C, D. And I expect that with my bachelor education, I would have been able to solve this problem, but it hasn't been able. But
Yeah.
because I think that if I get a master education where I get knowledge from maybe world class academics and well oriented practical individuals, I will be able to what resolve this problem A, B, C. Don't mention 20 problems and then you can't solve it. So you're even missing in a write up. Be straightforward which kind of problem you want to solve because they are looking forward for you to come back to Ghana and help. And
Yeah.
so that is what I want to say. So so that is why you want to solve this problem ABC and you have practical experience on the problem. Yeah.
This
But
actually
even
reminds me of what our guest told us last week. He said that in your application you have to be specific. Yeah, you have to be specific. You don't have to generalize. And you have also added up to
exactly.
the same thing that he said. Also, last week we got to know that as having done extracurricular activities was a plus. I mean, to study in the US. Is it the same in the Netherlands?
I have not come across a place where you have to indicate your extracurricular activity to get admission in the Netherlands. I mean, I know there may be some scholarship available for athletes, no doubt about that. There may be some scholarship, but I don't think. But the only thing is that you are there to prove yourself as a different candidate. Let's say you're a candidate who have got good academic records, and you're also
Mhm.
there to tell them how you have devoted your life in your university serving as a leader or as a student leader, and how you have mobilized a group of students to do a certain practical activities, or how you have engaged in maybe youth sensitization programs. Of course, it separates you from other people. When you
Yeah.
were in the university, we definitely played other activities, and these activities you have done them, and you also have gotten good grades. I mean, everybody else get good grades. There are a lot of people with first class, a lot of people with second class upper.
Mm-hmm.
So what will differentiate you between you and the other person? So definitely extracurricular activity. If I'm in the minds of the panel, I would have been able to select somebody with that than others. But they may not clearly indicate it that
Yeah.
this or that. But
Mm-hmm.
even some scholarships will also tell you, can you write about your leadership skills?
Skills.
Yes, some
Okay.
scholarship will tell you.
Okay.
Which area have you shown leadership in? Maybe you have shown leadership in mobilizing people to resolve an environmentally oriented problem, okay, by maybe
Okay.
clean up exercise, or trying to keep your trying to boost up livelihood of some people. So all these things are things that can set you different, not only even for the scholarship, but even when you get to the presence of other people, you are different. It's not only a
Mm-hmm.
degree you came to get in the university. So whilst you're in the university, I would advise that try to look for some roles to play. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will help
You
you.
shouldn't be just book long. You should do other stuffs.
Yes,
Okay.
because it end up
Mm-hmm.
helping you later parts of your life. Yeah, I was doing a radio when I was in university. I was a
Oh
radio
wow.
presenter, and I came to the Netherlands. I contacted for there was this science communication. You have to talk about your research in terms of science, and I did it. And I believe that my communication skills from my radio time in the bachelor level, we are able to miss class and go to the radio. But now it has
Mm-hmm.
helped me communicate properly, and I won the regional contest for the
Wow.
Netherlands for my region. So I
That's
realized that
great.
my
Congrats.
exactly. So let the people, everybody should know that the things you do at the bachelor can directly or indirectly help you, even
Help
during the
you.
application or after the application.
Okay, thank you. So one of our viewers is asking if it is expensive to study without a scholarship. For example, I know that the universities receive lots of applications. So assuming I am accepted into a program without a scholarship and I want to fund myself, is it expensive? One, is it possible? And two, is it expensive? Please, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
so yeah, I think I can hear you now. Yeah, I thought you were still talking anyway. So when it comes to the different university and different amounts. But I would like to say that if you go to a university website, you can find a lot of information on the cost of admission there. So I
Okay.
wouldn't like to commit myself to say that okay, if you go to Netherlands, this is how much you pay or this is how much you pay. But of course, it's expensive. It's expensive. Um, Somebody can pay as much as 20,000 euros in a year, academic year.
Mm,
And so if I'm multiplying 20,000 euros times seven, that's like 140,000 Ghana cedis in a year
yeah, that's a
for
lot of
only
money.
tuition. And remember that you need accommodation, you need food.
Accommodation.
Yeah, sometimes it can be 15,000 euros. So please go to the university site. And of course, some people can still afford. I mean, no doubt about that. But you still need the basic admission requirements, whether you have the money or not. Other than that, you not even get admission talking about paying for the fees. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So viewers, let's take note of this. It's very important that we go to the university's website and read, because that's where we will get all the information, the required
Yes.
documents, and everything related to the application process. All right. Okay. So
Can you
so
come
far
again, please?
you sorry.
Can you come again?
Yeah, okay, I
Can
was
you come
about
again? Can you come
to
again?
our viewers.
I didn't hear what the question.
It wasn't a
Oh.
question, it was something I was saying to the viewers.
Ah, okay, okay, good. I think there was a short break. I don't know why. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
fine. Good.
it's it's okay. So, having lived in the Netherlands for about 6 years, right? Or more.
You said I've been in the Netherlands for about 6 years. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I first came here around 2016. Yeah, but I've been in
16.
and out of Ghana, of course, for data collection, field work, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've
So
been.
can
My
you
first time
tell
here
us
was
some
in
of the pro
2016. Yeah,
okay, so can you tell us some of
January.
the pros of studying in the Netherlands?
Yes, there are a lot of reasons why you should study in the Netherlands. I mean, the first one,
Apart
like I
from the
said,
beautiful flowers.
apart from the beautiful flowers, indeed, the Dutch community, because of the English, they are, and not only because of the English, they are also very open-minded people. And I mean, open-minded in the sense that they welcome people from all cultures. So it's a very international community. In the Wageningen University where I study and where I work now, you'll find people from every part of the world, from India, from China, from Russia, from Pakistan, from US, from everywhere. And they have been friends I've met all over. So there's a huge, I mean, there's a vast presence of network individuals that you can find. And the teaching is different. The Dutch are innovative, and innovation is a central point of their teaching and research. So when you come here, it's not about mastering the contents of the course, but rather going beyond that and developing a critical thinking. So if you are coming to Netherlands, you get the excellent opportunity to develop your critical thinking. There are
Wow.
people who have gotten first class and they come here and they're finding it difficult. And not because they are not smart, but we have developed the ability to master just material and the content, but not really going beyond to critically evaluate situations. So when you are presented with such a study, it's difficult, but after some time we get used to it. So it's also internationally recognized. The degrees are recognized. Like I said, the world ranking. I remember when we were in Ghana, we used to talk about world ranking of our universities. But later, if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the most important world ranking, your universities in Netherlands are maybe in the first 100 of the world, and
Wow.
so, or maybe even 50s. So it is important that you come to Netherlands because you get the best degrees where it's recognized. A friend of mine got a job in the FAO, and when in the interview panel, they were asking, "Ah, you're from Wageningen?" Oh, yeah. So as if like it was easy because he was
Mm-hmm.
coming from a university that is known to be number one in agricultural science over the world. So with Food Agriculture Organization, there are a lot of people there that knows in the university and their capacity. So you're exposed. And there's one thing too I would like to say is that if you come to Netherlands, you are free to do everything. There are a lot of things you can't try them when you're in Ghana or any part of the world. But if you're in the Netherlands, if you want to try it, you will try it and know what exactly it is. And people are friendly and very welcoming. Yeah, I will not lie to you. And they are very creative. I will not lie because when you
Mm-hmm.
come to Netherlands, there are a lot of places you find very attractive. But as a student, the network has been a very important thing for me or benefit for me. Yeah, I have friends everywhere. Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. Sri
Wow.
Lanka, most countries. Yeah, every country. Africa, most Nigerians are my friends here, and yeah, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast. You have friends from every part of the country in the Netherlands, especially in Wageningen University. So if you are in net opportunity to come to Netherlands, you enjoy yourself. Open-minded country, internationally recognized degrees and program, and you find different kind of courses that are more innovative that you go home with as a different human being. Or yeah, you feel you have studied.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm already convinced to study in the Netherlands.
No, you should. Except that, yeah, you will come to the cons. But I
Oh.
don't- you come to the cons,
So
right? So
yes,
now we are in the
yes, we are
pros.
coming there actually. So having studied in Ghana and then in Nigeria and then coming to the Netherlands, what would you say are the cons or maybe the difference between studying in Africa and then in Europe, specifically in the Netherlands?
Yeah. So yeah, there is a difference between that. That is, in Nigeria, because it's an international program, we were having lecturers from Germany to teach us, lecturers from other countries, and from Senegal, from different. It's a West African program. It was only
Mm-hmm.
hosted by the university. So I also was exposed a little bit about the style of which the Western people will actually teach. So there was a
Okay.
different bit, but then you also had African lecturers, and the difference also is there. The focus of an African education or in Ghana is that you should focus on the content of the material they give you. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have good memory, you pass. Huh? Good memory keeps the
But dear,
formation and produces and go. But when you come to Netherlands, and I was also in ICTP a bit, where I also know how they organize their program. Because it's
your system
practical
is. Mm-hmm.
oriented. It is something that brings you gives the opportunity to critically think and come out with a solution for yourself. I've been doing some tutorials, and I envy those who are doing bachelors because I tell myself, look at what this guy is learning at this stage of his life, and I got to learn it when I was in a master or a PhD level,
Yeah.
So I envy them. And I remember one thing when I started my masters, I started some programming, but not so deep. But when I started my PhD, I have to start doing detailed of programming for data analysis and all that. And it was difficult for me. So my professor one day said, "About I think you have done computer programming, and I think it was computer programming and computing and programming, something like that." And I said, "How did he say that?" I went back to my transcript and I saw that I have done that. And like, oh my God, when did I do this?
Oh no.
When did I do this? So you see, maybe I was admitted because they felt I have done that, and maybe I even had an A
Imagine.
or something.
Just
Now
imagine.
all of a sudden, so I mastered the course content and I just chewed, or perhaps it was not even practical or something. I'm not
Yeah.
demeaning the education in Ghana. The education in Ghana has its advantage. It builds your mind, your ability to remember things,
Mm-hmm.
if you have patience, and it makes you disciplined because once our studies are based on memory, you have to be disciplined to always read,
Yeah.
and that makes you disciplined, right? So most first class students in Ghana, I say they are disciplined because they sit down and they have to read it and continuously read. But here, there's a room for creativity. You don't only have to master the content of what I've given you, but you
Have
have to
to
think
understand.
and come
Yeah.
out. Students are giving, and the lecturers are not teaching you something that a professor in another university has written. No, the teachings that I've done, the lecturing that I've get myself involved, they are my papers that I've written and published. They are papers that the students have to what? Analyze and evaluate and criticize. So when they are saying something, I know that this is what they are saying. So that is the thing. We don't have to bring abstract to the classroom. We have to bring what we are doing. And there's no one person teaching one course. But in Ghana, one person can teach two courses. But
Even
here, you
threat.
can find one course at the master's level. About six people are teaching that course because I have my expertise in that course. A course within 1 month, 1.5 months, six people are teaching it. So imagine how
Well.
much detail and practical they will go about it. So that
Yeah. So
is, but
you
I'm
you
sure we'll get there. Yeah, I'm hopeful.
so you've already mentioned that the Ghana system or the Ghanaian education system helps the brain, right? It helps to develop the brain and makes us disciplined. But do you think that that prepares us enough to face the outside world?
Oh. Can you come back again? It looks very.
Okay, so I was asking if the Ghanaian system or the Ghanaian education system prepares us enough to face the outside world.
Yes, yes. I will not lie to you. The Ghanaian education system prepares us, but enough is subjective. What I mean enough is subjective. And one thing that a Ghanaian system does well is that it makes you very adaptable. All right.
Okay.
You are a Ghanaian student, from my opinion, is a fast learner. It's a very, very fast learner. I mean, so, and that is a good preparation. You can adapt the situation. Imagine somebody, yeah, you don't even know. The training we receive make us very easily flexible to adapt, but when somebody have gone through routine of doing things, sometimes it's difficult for the person to adapt. So it's one of the advantages. And I'm not saying that memory is a bad thing. It's a good thing. Even when you come here, you still have to keep some things in your head. And so
Yes.
that chew and pour, it builds your mind. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's why children do rhyming, right? So that they can
keep the things in their head, it develop their brain. So I mean, if you're a true and poor person, you do it very well and understand the context. I mean, you survive. Yeah, true and poor has a good. I mean, it's how I always love it because it's good. Yeah, so that is what Ghanaians want to survive. If you don't have that ability, you have a problem, and I know that. So, and also the difficulty with the Ghanaian system prepares you to be hard. There's nothing that is difficult you can't survive. The question is, what is so difficult? Now I'm getting light 24/7. I'm getting internet 24/7. So what exactly is it that I can't read?
Yeah.
Maybe when you're young,
have
you
them,
really
you were
understand
making
it.
it. So how much more now?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a Ghanaian student, I mean, coming to the Netherlands, did you face any major challenge?
Oh, sorry. I think there's something. Can you repeat it again?
Challenges. Have you faced any major challenges?
As a Ghanaian student? Yeah. So like I told you about the programming at the beginning of my study, it was a challenge.
A challenge, yeah.
I never had a problem with food because I'm not a good cook, so I don't worry about what food I eat as far as I get it. So if you're a fan of somebody who wants to eat food all the time, you can get it here. So it's not also a challenge. But I would say that there is a subtle little confidence. You see, confidence, your ability to express yourself without feeling intimidated.
Yeah.
And most Ghanaians, by virtue of our training, our homes, our background, we have that. So when we come, we are not able to be confident in what we deliver. But that is what they expect from you. Be confident in what you are doing, right? So it's one of the things that I found as a challenge at the beginning. Okay. I mean, expressing, even when I have the idea, I say it one or two, I feel like, okay, as a Ghanaian person, you don't have to talk too much. When the person says this, that is it. But you realize that they give you room for you to excel and express your mind. Yeah. And it's something that I've come to respect so much that it is my desire to create opportunity for people to express their mind that way. But as a Ghanaian student, it was a challenge for me at the beginning. And yeah, so that is it. And the challenges are less. I mean, the challenges are less.
And what about cultural shocks? Did you experience or have you experienced any cultural shock?
Yeah. There are a lot of cultural shocks. I mean,
tell us about some of them.
There are languages the person will use, and then you ask yourself, why did he tell me this? You know, why did he say this? Then later on, I remember my professor during my defense bought a book. After 4 years, he gave me a book as a gift. And whilst I was reading the book, and I came to understand, why some things were happening. You know, like I should get this book before. You know, and so there's always a cultural shock. They are straightforward people. They'll tell you, this is not good enough. Go and do it. And sometimes you feel it's even an insult. You have used the whole day, in fact, the whole week or 2 weeks to do this, and they tell you, no, go and do it again. That is one cultural shock. And the second one is about time. The first day I'm supposed to come for a PhD meeting. I was late. And it was because I came back from Ghana and my time was 1 hour behind. And I set my alarm and I didn't connect it to the internet, the phone to the internet. So it had not adjusted to the normal thing. So I was late and I came back. They said, no, Emmanuel, you can't be late like this. And the funny thing, I decided to give excuse, but I read somewhere that you apologize instead of excuse. And I said, I'm sorry. And I decided not to be late again. So the only way not to be late again is to make use of technology, alarms, calendar. Yeah. So the Dutch people stick to calendar and they are always on time. There are no doubt about it. I'm sure they're one of the people who are always stick. And they don't give excuse for which they can't survive or they can't do something. Think about it. And yeah. And the thing is that I can have a student write to me and say, hey, Emmanuel, how are you doing? Like that is maybe a master or a bachelor student. You understand? So how do you?
You can't do this in Ghana.
As a Ghanaian, it hits me. Not like I'm offended, but I'm able to recognize that this is something that I wouldn't have done. So you say, hey, Emmanuel, I said, can we meet and discuss something? I said, yeah. Hello, we can meet. Let's talk. It makes you simple and then it makes life easy and it has advantage, but it's a shock. And I'm not able to, up to today, call my professor by his first name without adding the title. But he has said it, I think, twice before. I think he realized that I'm not listening, that I should use my first name.
Stop.
But he realized I'm not
Like,
listening to
you
that.
can't
And
stop.
yeah.
Wow,
So there are a lot of
interesting. I am really enjoying this conversation, but
time.
our time is fast spent. So let me get to the comment section. We have someone saying, "Thank you, Doc, but please let's hear some Dutch." Yeah, someone wants to hear some Dutch.
They want to hear some Dutch.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it depends on what you want to hear. I just finished my A1 level Dutch, and coronavirus came. For my 4-year period, I never struggled to learn the Dutch. English is always spoken everywhere, so I'm okay to leave. But then, goedemorgen, hartet. That means good morning. How are you? And if I want to say see you later, tot ziens. So tot is like until, so tot ziens and doei, bye bye or something, So
Wow.
I'm learning the words one after the other, and I'm hoping that the next time we have an interview, or maybe the next time I see any of them in the Netherlands studying because of this interview, we'll be able to speak more fluently. But for now, that I just
hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, we have Musa Muntari saying, Emmanuel is a great guy. I haven't met him in person, but he has helped me before in applying to study abroad. Wow. Thank you, Doc.
Wow.
And he says he's currently doing masters in the US. So if you need to study, or if you want to study in the Netherlands, please send us your question or your comment here. Doc is here to help you, as he has helped Musa Muntari.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doc, thank you so much for coming. But before we draw the curtain, what are your final words for students or people who want to study in the Netherlands?
I think the application process is a doubting one, and it's a process that is difficult. If it's easy, everybody would have gotten to it, right? So don't give up in the process. And when you are turned down, you apply again, do it again and again. And when you get opportunity, tell people about it, because we need to learn from what others know, so that we can also come back and do to the best of our ability what we can do. And let me tell you, when we're in bachelor, this is an advice. We used to say, oh, GPA GPA, I was into radio. I never thought I would even go and do my master's and do PhD. So of course I was like, yeah, GPA. But if you're able to memorize, you can pass. So we're able to survive through the process. So, but don't let that thing deceive you. No. Oh, the baby in the future. I'm telling you the truth. And I missed class a number of times, I remember, because I have to go for morning radio stuff. But let's be serious. I mean, you never know your future. I never thought. It's only one guy who also I met, who was my senior in high school, and told me he's got a scholarship to Norway and he's leaving the next month. I'm like, wow. Is this in real? Like, so and I'm here today. Got a master's scholarship, got a PhD scholarship. So don't play with the bachelors. Don't think those of them who are doing studying to get first class are just too much bookish. No.
Yeah.
I know people who have done that, and now they are always calling me, Charlie, I want to study, but they don't have the class to even apply and get admission.
Yeah.
So please, let's be steady. Let's study. Yeah, let's study.
For our younger ones who are still doing the bachelors, please take the study seriously.
Yeah.
You will need that.
You need it.
Please, we are done, but we have one question here. Do you have to get a professor before applying?
No, you don't need it for a master. You have to apply just for admission. Like it is, but I'm sure countries like Canada and other places you need it. But in Netherlands, I don't think you need a professor. In fact, but if your PhD is a job, so you apply for a job, you advertise the job, you apply for it and go through. So the admission comes with the scholarship. So then a professor must be responsible for you as a promoter. All right. But for masters, you don't need it. Just apply. Yeah.
All right.
But you need
Thank you so
references.
much. We have someone saying, thank you, Doc. God bless you. We are proud of you. Oh, yes, we are. We are so proud of you. And I am so happy that you were able to honor our invitation. Thank you so much for coming. And I know that you are coming back next time, right?
Yes, yes.
To tell us more.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk
thank
to
you. And viewers, thank you so much for staying with us through to the end of the program. If you still have questions, you can leave them in the comment section. Doctor will come back to answer all your questions.
Yeah.
And next week, Thursday, we are going to the Iceland. Yeah, so save the date.
All right.
Okay.
So talk since until later. And Dewey, bye.
Yeah. So thank you, viewers. Bye bye.
Bye bye.